Hello, Colas. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories. We start with this transfer report claiming that manager Xavi Hernandez have ruled out the signing of Premier League midfielder Ruben Neves for Barcelona. We are going to be discussing on that as we move ahead. Then, secondly, talking about Sofian Amrabat, as it has been reported that the Barcelona staff see the 26-year-old midfielder as the best option for the pivot position. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, as we get right into the full story, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up till the very end. Barcelona have been in the market looking for a defensive midfielder for a few seasons at this point. With Sergio Busquets edging towards the final juncture of his career, the Blaugranas want to sign a long-term replacement for the Spaniard. The club's top choice for that position has been Martin Zubimendi. However, the Real Sociedad midfielder has a release clause of 60 million euros, which does not fit in Barcelona's budget at all. Therefore, they have been keeping tabs on other players as alternatives, such as Wolverhampton Wanderers' Ruben Neves. While Joan Laporta really appreciates the player, Xavi has discarded his signing for the summer. As per a report by Javi Miguel, the Portuguese midfielder does not fit into the club's plans. The president has also spoken about Neves earlier this year, saying, "Neves is a great player, but this is part of a private conversation. Busquets will not last forever and there are internal discussions to find a replacement for him." Other reports had stated that Barcelona had been offered the chance to sign Neves in the summer in exchange for Ansu Fati and cash. The coaching staff do not want Fati to leave, though they are evidently not in favor of signing Neves. That said, Ruben Neves is enjoying a tremendous 2022-23 season at Wolverhampton Wanderers, having scored 6 goals across 31 games so far. He has largely played as a single pivot, but Xavi Hernandez believes his profile fits a double pivot more. Further, Barcelona have started to prioritize a move for Sofian Amrabat in that position, as they see him as the best fit for the role. Over Neves, the Moroccan is expected to cost around 25 to 30 million euros. However, if they cannot move for Amrabat in the summer, they will turn their attention towards Guido Rodriguez, who has convinced the Barcelona coaching staff. So the issue of the defensive midfielder continues to make a lot of headlines lately for FC Barcelona, as Sergio Busquets is edging closer and closer to the end of his contract, and there is no hope for him to extend, despite being talk of maybe convincing him to stay. But from the look of things, we have been seeing numerous reports these days talking about a new DM possibly to replace Busquets, as nothing has been decided yet. Of course, Sofian Amrabat and of course Ruben Neves has been one of the talked about replacements. Ruben Neves, who have been long linked with Barcelona, continue to do good at playing for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but there have been a lot of debate as to the player's suitability in Xavi's setup, as manager Xavi reportedly doesn't want him to come to Barca as he doesn't suit the bill according to the manager. And for Xavi, he says Ruben Neves fits by the double pivot, not a single pivot. Of course, we all know that in Barca's history or in the Barca philosophy of things, when we talk about the midfield department, we deal with a single pivot, not a double pivot. Like the 4-3-3, we have Busquets, who have been the single pivot for many decades, for many years. And of course, playing now with two central midfielders. That's just the system of our own 4-3-3. That is why Xavi does not see Neves as the suitable replacement, because according to the manager, Ruben Neves fits the bill when it comes to double pivot, not a single pivot. But President Joan Laporta does not abide with that, as President Laporta continued to show interest and continue to discuss with the player's agent, George Mendes, if there will be any possibility of signing him up. But the reality of the fact is, Ruben Neves wants to be a Barca player. He really wants to step in his career, but it's going to be very tricky. Sofian Amrabat continued to show interest as Barcelona continue to see him as a better suited the single pivot than the other guy from Wolverhampton Wanderers. So it remains to be seen how things are going to look like as Barcelona continue to look for the right formula to strengthen the squad to ensure that they can compete for Europe and compete for all trophies and be strong to come back to their glory days next season. And of course, we all know that it's going to be very tricky as La Liga continue to hang in our necks when it comes to financial fair play, which have been the toughest issue to deal with by the president and his board. But we just have to keep fingers crossed to see that business that need to be done will be done, hopefully. And also the fact that Messi wants to come back to Barca, things are looking more complicated because Barca must ensure that the books are balanced well enough for Messi to come as well as other players to come so that the team can be strengthened ahead of next season, to compete on all fronts, especially in the European elite competition. Then on to the next story of discussion. Only a little while ago, reports emerged claiming that super agent Josh Mendes had approached Barcelona with a proposal to swap Ansu Fati for Wolves midfielder Ruben Neves plus cash. However, by this point, it has been well established that Neves is a player that does not convince the Barca coaching staff entirely, despite Mendes constantly offering the Portuguese international to the club. There are genuine doubts within manager Xavi Hernandez and his staff about whether Neves can perform as the single pivot midfielder, the role that Sergio Busquets currently essays. Instead, as reported by Tony Juanmati, it is Florentina midfielder Sofian Amrabat that generates the most consensus at Barcelona as an option to reinforce that pivot position. Indeed, the 26-year-old midfielder is seen as the best option by Barcelona's coaching and sporting directors. Amrabat was close to signing for Barcelona during the January transfer window, but Fiorentina ended up blocking the move as they did not wish to lose a key player. The Moroccan international, who was one of the most impressive players at the FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar, has continued to be on Barca's agenda and could be allowed to leave in the summer. While the Blaugrana also admire Martin Zubimendi, they see his signing from Real Sociedad as impossible this summer. After him, it is Amrabat who generates the most consensus within the club. However, any operation to sign the Moroccan midfielder will be dependent on the kind of fair play margin that Barcelona generate. A move would only be considered if the Catalans have enough space on their wage bill. Busquets' decision on his future could also end up playing a role in whether Barca prioritize the signing of a new pivot midfielder or not, as they have several other positions to strengthen as well. All in all, it promises to be a tricky summer for Barcelona, and it remains to be seen how they go about things given their financial fair play issues.